A nature reserve in Scunthorpe is undergoing a woodland transformation in an effort to preserve it for its wildlife residents. The Phoenix Parkway Local Nature Reserve will receive new woodland structures that are more wildlife friendly than the already existing areas. Restricted areas will become more open in order to create glades and rides, with animals such as birds and butterflies benefiting from the changes. Unhampered trees will also be adorned with bat and bird boxes.
It's a site managed by North Lincolnshire Council as a nature reserve. It's an area of cover sands, so the geology here is a deep sand overlying the ironstone and other rocks beneath. It's been here like that since the end of the last ice age, and naturally it would be an area of heathland and acid grassland, but has become planted with these sycamore trees, which aren't really what we'd like to see these days. There's an awful lot of them dominating the environment. So we're launching a programme of winter works this year to thin out the sycamore and allow us to replant with other species. Well, as you can see, we've made a start here already. We've had various training exercises, teams of volunteers and teams of our own workers taking down some of the trees. That's likely to continue for another few weeks now. We're hoping that the whole programme will be finished by Christmas to allow us to come and replant with birch, oak, species that you would normally find on the cover sands this same planting season before the spring. The sycamore, it has its benefits, but it's something that we don't want an awful lot of. It casts a very dense shade on the woodland floor, very heavy leaf fall, and it only supports a limited range of species. So by thinning those out and replanting with oak, the oak supports more species of insects than any other British tree. It takes some time to grow though, so we'll also be planting silver birch, which again supports an awful lot of wildlife, very good for nesting birds, and with its short lifespan it produces deadwood, which is also very useful for species such as willow tit and woodpeckers, which will use it in the future. Where we aren't planting with trees, we will be also leaving glades and rides that will allow more sunlight into the woodland. That will benefit the birds. You can hear the wren calling away in the background, and also allow more light to the floor for our flora, the flowers of the woodland to grow on, and that in itself that will bring butterflies into the area too. So where there are glades already, we have some power lines through here which are open underneath, and we have an awful lot of acid grassland species there. Things like storkbill, the bird's foot, which is quite unusual, wood sage and sand sedge. So we're hoping we'll get more of those in the more open areas where there's less bracken in the sunlight. The great benefits here is demonstrating how we can achieve multiple benefits from one project. So this work's been planned in many ways to benefit the wildlife, but also as a useful side effect, we have a need to bring some services through the woodland, underground services, sewers, cables, such like, which will allow a neighbouring area that's already an industrial state to be further developed and provide jobs for the area. So by having a well-managed open route, that brings a new woodland glade, but also somewhere where we can bring cables and services through without disrupting the habitat.
The work will carry on throughout the winter season, all in aid of improving wildlife habitats. From McNamara, Estuary News.